Welcome back, everybody. This is part two of our conversation about grad life. What's it like before, during, and now after graduation? In part one, we talked about a lot, but mainly the grad school experience itself, what we liked, what we didn't like, what we took away from it, some challenges, friendships, all this different stuff that happens in grad life. And now we're going to focus on what people would call the transition into quote adulthood. If this is adulthood, I don't want it, but I guess this is what they call it. And I think a good place to start is just for me to recap where everyone's at. So I'm going to quickly do it, and then you let me know if I left anything out or if I was wrong. But I think I'm good. So T is back home, and she's currently job hunting. And then she's also working on an oral history interview report with the
Project. Yeah.
project with the school, with the university.
Yes, with my alma
Yeah,
mater.
with her say it,
Alma mater?
alma mar, say it,
Alma mater.
alma mater, her with her alma mater. Okay, I actually never known how to say that. Alma mater. Um. Okay. Let's put the laughter in a box. Me, I'm also back home. Oh, also T graduated last. Technically, T and I both finished last summer 2024. Um, and then I'm also looking for a job. I came back home. And then on the side, I teach young kids, young adults, not young kids, sorry, adolescents and young adults about historical religious conflicts and generational trauma through comics. So there's that. And then Shreya just graduated like 2 months ago. So there's that. Looking for a job, fresh out of school. Did I cover everything? Is that a good, just quick synopsis?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you. So diving into the first question, and then
Sorry.
what did you say?
In other words, just graduated school and hatching eggs. That's about it.
Period.
Hatching eggs.
Yeah. You know, you're warming your seat up. If there was an egg, it would hatch.
I've never heard that analogy, but it does make sense. In my life, no, but it does make sense. Hatching eggs. All right, when people ask me what I'm doing, I'm gonna be like, oh, I'm just hatching eggs right now. Just give me a second.
Not something you say about yourself, though.
I'm just gonna leave it alone then. Now, moving forward, let's start with our first question. I feel like it's a good overview. How did you manage your expectations versus the harsh realities or positive realities of post grad?
Well, when I was in grad school, I just knew I was going to have this big girl job lined up and I was going to stay in New York and I'd be living my best big girl life. And then none of that happened. So it was definitely like an adjustment because I had such different plans for how I saw like my life. Like when you're young, it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this by this age and then do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to manage that disappointment, to be quite frank, with you guys, and just kind of had to realize that like everything's in God's timing and you can't measure your progress off of other people, because I did start doing that a lot, like, oh, this person, they're fresh out and they already got the job, they have their own apartment. So you just kind of have to like not do that, because comparison is ultimately like the thief of joy. And also, you know what people say, 25 is the new 21, and I'm only 24, so I'm just not there yet. But yeah, I think it's just learning to kind of just like, it'll all happen in its own timing. It might not be what you thought where you thought you're gonna be at one point in time, but you just have to stay positive, honestly. If not, it's just, so yeah, just be positive.
Um, for me, honestly, before I moved home, I had two fairly solid job interview processes. Like, I wasn't heavily applying to jobs, and at first I was going to stay in New York, and those two jobs, I feel like I went through a majority, if not all, of the interview process, and then I just didn't get it. Well, one I didn't get when I was like, I have to go home, because I was just so overwhelmed. Like, going back to what we talked about in part one of the podcast, like there was just so much going on. I was overwhelmed. I felt really like fidgety, like I couldn't relax. I was always on edge. And so going home, my expectation was just to spend like the rest of the year, so like from August to December, just trying to relax, heal, just regroup. And then in January, I was going to start applying to jobs, which I did. And I feel like what people are starting to talk about now, which we should have been talking about since maybe last year, is that the job market sucks and we're having a lot of, there's a lot of positions open for very specific people, if that makes sense. I feel like a lot of organizations and um, different like job markets, they're not really willing to take the risk of people who are just like fresh out of school because of everything that's going on in the US right now. And so I feel like that was something I didn't anticipate in this year. So I feel like that's where I'm at. I don't think the job hunt itself is hard. I think it's just the context in which we're applying to jobs is difficult. And I don't know how to reconcile that because everything I'm applying to has to deal with like nonprofits or higher ed, and that's taking a really big hit right now. So just trying to figure out how to keep working in that field without having to struggle with like making the moral struggle of like, oh, do I take the 40K paying job in a field I'm not that interested in, or do I keep like struggling now until I get that job that pays well and is in the field I'm interested in and is worth my experience and skills.
Absolutely. Really quick to that point. Because I, on the topic of the job hunt, because I remember when I was looking and I was still in New York and I was like pulling up certain jobs. And I remember both Shrey and Rose said to me, girl, you got a master's degree. Like you should be looking for higher. But then it's like the reality is, it's like the experience they're expecting. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
I've had to like lower the pay that I'm like looking to receive just because it's like it's so hard to find. Um, and they just aren't like, you're applying and it's like sometimes you just won't hear back at all. So it's just like a really weird time. So yeah, I think that's another like expectation that I've had to manage. Like what I thought I would be quote unquote worth, don't really like that, but like what I thought I would be worth salary wise isn't matching up with what's like available on the market right now. But yeah, I just wanted to add that because that reminded me of that.
Real quick to what you said about worth. I used to feel weird about saying, like, oh, well, I'm worth this, I'm worth that. But I feel like over time, I've just come to understand financial compensation for your experience and your skills and your time matters. Like someone saying, hey, here's a full time job. I need you to do twice the amount of work and I'll pay you half the pay. Like, that's just not okay. And I know we have to lower our expectations now because of everything going on in all different aspects of the country. Um, but I do think like the more comfortable we get talking about our worth and accepting the fact that we are worth more, the easier it'll be in the future to advocate for ourselves. Because I used to hate saying worth. Even when I say worth now, it's kind of like, ugh. But it's, I feel like they've ingrained in us that we have to be humble and we have to accept the fact that we don't know that much because we're young. But we've lived here on this earth like 24 years and then Shreya 27, 28. Sorry. Dang. I was like, it's 28. No, I'm wrong. But 28 years, right? Like we have life experiences that can be translated into jobs and that we work hard to show. So we should be financially compensated for that. I don't think it's bad to say you're worth 80K, 90K, because you are. It's just a lot of other people are too, and there's not that many opportunities for all of us.
Yeah.
That's true. Well, for me, I agree with both of you on a lot of points, especially the aspect about applying and then seeing the work experience criteria that they have for entry level positions, which make no sense to me. I'm like, why
Mm-hmm.
do you need so much experience for somebody at the entry level? But I think I've managed to keep my expectations. Well, to begin with, I didn't have rosy expectations of what was going to happen after postgrad. So that helped me keep things real a little bit in my head. But I also had the privilege of having both of you graduate before me. So it wasn't a
True.
blind, how do I say it? Was I wasn't blindsided by what was going to happen. So that is it. Plus, I'm also coming to terms with it right now because it's only been a month or two. I haven't gone through the entire cycle that you guys have. I've already been through one cycle of harsh realities when I graduated during the pandemic.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and I had to find a job then as well. So, well, that job kind of fell into my lap. But I do understand the pressure that one feels when when they're graduating and they don't have something lined up, and the market just seems like, nope, we're not hiring. Nobody's working, nobody's leaving home, so it was different. So I think that's about my expectations. How I'm managing them, I don't know. I'm trying to keep my head up above the water. I think that's about it for now. And and I have this thing where I make this mental cocoon, I think, where I don't get disturbed by anybody else and I'm sitting in my cocoon until things settle down outside. It's not like I'm not
I'm
stressed, but
weak.
so there are a couple of people I don't want to speak to. A lot of people I don't want to speak to when I'm in this state of mind. And as long as I'm not talking to them, not because they're going to say anything, it's just about how I process information and stress. So as long as I'm in that little cocoon, speaking to those people who make me feel, who don't trigger anything, I'm in heaven. I had pizza day for yesterday. I'm happy.
Okay,
Honestly, oh, sorry. Go ahead.
go
Go ahead.
ahead. I was gonna say, I was trying to, when you were talking about graduating in 2020 and all this, I had watched recently this video. I don't even know when. I need to be better at storing this knowledge in my head. But they had labeled the class of 2020 something, because the class of 2020, specifically high school, but I think it could apply to college too. The class of 2020 graduated during the pandemic, and now they're graduating from college, and the job market sucks, the political climate sucks, all these things suck. And it's like the class of 2020 has really struggled throughout the last like 5 years of six, I guess, since 2019, the last 6 years, to adapt to an adulthood, a life that was promised to us by older generations, or to them by older generations. So I was trying to figure out what it's called. I can't find it. I can't, but if I do, I'll text it to you.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
With this said, now we're talking about like expectations versus realities. I think it's really important to reflect on how we felt after graduating from our program, because I feel like school educates you, but it's also supposed to prepare you for the job market. It's also supposed to prepare you to transition from being a student to being someone, a part of the workforce. So when you graduated, or we graduated, how did you guys feel after graduating?
Numb.
Same. I felt nothing.
It was very anticlimactic.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even want to walk across the stage. I only did it because my parents came and they really wanted to see it, so I did. But I didn't even put effort into the outfit. Like, nothing. I
You
felt
had a sweatshirt on of a different school.
no, literally. Like, I did not care. And plus, everything was going on with the protests, so we couldn't have commencement or anything like that. And all the locations changed for graduations. Like, it was just a really difficult time. Granted, the whole thing with the protests, kudos to them, respect. I don't even mind that we had to change all the locations. I just think because it was like outside and it was raining and it was cold, it was just like, why are we here? And when you walk across stage, they don't give you like a diploma or anything. They gave you a card, like, to the bookstore.
Like, what am I supposed to do with this? I was like, what?
Well, they stopped doing that as well. This time they just shook our hand and said, "Off you go."
Are you serious?
Off you go. They shook our hand and said, we like, yeah.
That's crazy. I think also what added to like the anticlimacticness for me was the fact that I knew I had a whole other semester of school to do, because me and Rose walked in
Yes.
May, but then we still weren't going to be done till August. So I was just like, okay, cool. Like, graduation's supposed to be like this culminating event, but I was just like, I know I'm about to be on that laptop in about a week to start my summer semester courses. And then when we actually finished in August, all we did was close a laptop once we did like finish our capstones. Like, that's all we did. Well, we did have a dance party. That was fun. Rose was on the kitchen
Yeah.
table dancing.
I was so happy.
Besides that, it's like, oh, okay, we're done. Once I finished in August, it was like relief, because I was like, okay, good, I'm done. Accomplishment, yeah, but also it was kind of like, all I did was close a laptop, so it didn't really feel like real. And also, our capstone was virtual, so we were all just sitting in my apartment. Like, we
I
weren't in
hated
a
that.
room. Yeah, we weren't like in the room with people. We were all like separated. And then also just anxiety because I knew I didn't have anything lined up. So it was just like, eh. So I didn't really feel like all the positive stuff. Like when I graduated undergrad, I was on cloud nine. I knew I had this program lined up. I was like, yes, I'm making strides into my career and my future life, but nothing like that this time around.
How did I feel after completing my program? I was numb, to a large extent. So I didn't have the same experience in the sense that I there was a good 10 days between my last assignment and no, a good 5 days between my last assignment and the day I was supposed to work. So I was done when I graduated or when I attended that ceremony. But I was numb. I didn't feel accomplished. I didn't feel anything. I mean, yes, I've done something, yes, but nothing. I don't know why. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the weather. Honestly, why doesn't the school learn? Every year they schedule it when it rains. Every year it rains. Every year people's hair gets ruined. Every year it's cold, but they will still have an outdoor ceremony. Why? Like, why?
At least we have tents, or we have tents.
We had tents
Yeah.
as well. But it was actually a lovely ceremony. It wasn't too bad. They didn't rush the names too much. Only the first couple of names got ruined, so that was okay. So I, I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel accomplished. In fact, I was a little sad. But I always feel sad when there are momentous moments. My birthday, depressed. You could take me to Disneyland and I would be sad. Anything that is supposed to be huge and momentous, I'm sad. It's just I don't know. Something wrong with the wiring. Um,
I'm crying.
it's true. But otherwise, I think it was also the stress of what's coming next. I had to move out soon. I didn't know where I was gonna go. I didn't know how I was gonna get short-term housing. Um, my parents were supposed to come. They weren't able to come because they didn't get their visas on time. And then my aunt and uncle came, but then that stress carried over a little bit. I guess I don't know. I think it was just the situation is not. There was a sense of foreboding. Like
Mm.
what's coming next is not necessarily going to be all that pleasant. You have to gear up. So I think I was more focused on that. It felt good to walk. I wore a sari, so I felt nice and
Oh.
pretty and all of that. But
It was interesting because T said that in undergrad she felt like good and all that. I in undergrad felt so unaccomplished. I remember graduating and I just didn't feel anything. I felt like negative. Like I feel like when I graduated from the program for masters, like I didn't feel negative or positive. I just felt nothing. And then when I graduated from undergrad, I felt really negative and like unaccomplished. And I had an internship that turned into a job lined up. I was about to travel for 2 months. I had all these great experiences that I experienced in undergrad. And so I don't know. And I guess when I was graduating this past time with masters, I didn't want to feel that way anymore. But I think I felt worse. And so my brain was just kind of like, let's just not feel nothing at all. But I don't think the program really set us up for post grad life. But I don't know if that's because that's not how it's designed or if because we have such a diverse range of students in that program that come from different points. Like some are already working, a lot are already working or already have worked. It's at least for me, it seems like it's less people who have graduated from undergrad and going into grad school. So I don't know. I guess I just didn't want to think about it, which is why I feel like going home was probably the right answer. So I could just like stop and regroup and like feel better. But I don't know. Everyone was celebrating. I was like, why are we so happy? Grr. Like, ugh, what's going on?
I always
Please.
feel out of place when people are very, very happy around me. I'm like, mm.
You felt out of place?
Yeah, I'm like, I do because I feel like this unreal expectation that I create where I have to match up to that level of exuberance and happiness. And
Oh.
I'm like,
Oh, okay.
I'm like, no. because I'm spending so much time worrying whether I sound happy or I'm as happy as them rather than just being happy in my own state, which is, I don't know, eating food that I like and lounging on the couch with people I'm friendly with. It doesn't necessarily have to be like, yay, America. No,
I'm crying.
no, just no. Um, no, but I do agree with you about the post completion thing. I don't think the program sets you up for it. Um, I think initially it was designed for mid career professionals who have a stable job and then come and join. But I think the admissions committee should have realized that if you're allowing students in, or you're giving your marketing to your you've expanded your marketing to students who are fresh graduates or just fresh out of undergrad, then you should be able to understand that they have different needs from mid-career professionals. In which case, you should be able to provide them with that support that they require when they are launched into the job market. But I
Mm,
think that's something they might pick up now. But you can't have a program designed for mid-career professionals and then expect people who are early in their career to feel satisfied
true.
with how prepared they are. So that.
That's true. Well, then, what do you guys? I'm jumping around here, so let me know if you wanna, if you'd rather go to something else. But like, what do you guys feel like? Stop. What kind of support did you guys need after graduation? And then what did you actually have? Because if we all felt on the negative side to some degree, like what did we need to get out of that if we have gotten out of that?
In hindsight is always 2020, right? Like now that I look back and I'm like, oh, I could have done this, I should have done that, I should have spoken to this person, I should have done this, I shouldn't have been so overwhelmed in my thoughts that I, isolated myself. So ideally I would have spoken to some people within the program, like the administration, and try to figure out my options a little earlier.
I felt like this question was really interesting. Um, because when I think about like what support I had and what I feel like I needed, like I have a great family and friends around me, which I'm really grateful for. I feel like I'm provided all the emotional, spiritual, physical, financial support that I need. So it's hard for me to like see what I'm missing exactly. And I feel like since I'm kind of like in the quote unquote metaphorical picture, I don't really see the full picture. I don't really see everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um so I'm not really exactly sure what support I was missing. There's definitely some things that I wish I had done differently. Like I wish that I had an internship that last summer semester. Um but I think it got messed up because our program switched like the required credit hours, and so I was taking more than I needed, and I was told I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't drop them. But then it was just weird, and so I couldn't do an internship I wanted because I had class at that time. But then I found out, oh, you could have dropped it, and it was just like, wait, what? So like there's just little things that I wish had gone differently, but like in terms of like a support that I wish I had, I don't know. Like I can't think of like anything really off the top of my head.
um, yeah. I feel like for me, immediately I just needed some space and some time. Like just living in New York City, you don't have space. Like everyone's on top of everyone. It's always loud. Someone's always crying or screaming. It's just a lot. And so I think I immediately just needed to remove myself from that situation. But outside of that, I mean, I've talked about this before, but I think just being first gen, it's just so hard. Like, I will always need support that I don't have or have access to or get access to too late because I don't really know what I need. Um, and so I feel like for me, even now, that's probably what I need the most, which is why like I've always leaned on the institution I'm going to school at to teach me the things that I don't know, right? Like as a first gen student, that's their job. And I feel like this institution that we were at didn't help me with that. I felt like everything was really, I don't know what the word is, but like on the surface, like, oh, you're a first gen student, come to this first gen hangout. You're a first gen student, here's da 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 da. But it was never really actually like, let's help you take the steps forward. The institution, not the program. I feel like the institution sets the standard for stuff like that. And so I think I just need that type of support. There's people in my life, specifically from undergrad, who help. And I know I can always go to them, but I mean, they only know so much and they can only help me so much. And like, I'm just now learning. Like, I don't know. The best example I can give is like, if I get a job, I really couldn't dress business casual. I don't know what to wear or how to act at an office party. I don't know how to have networking conversations. And I know that's like everyone learns that eventually, but I'm 24 and I have a master's degree, and those are stuff that I just never learned. Like, my parents never taught me because my parents, they're like self employed and they didn't go to college. And so, like, it's me who has to learn this like professional language and this professional identity and experience to like pass on, and I'm just so confused. Like, even now applying to jobs, part of me is like, am I doing something wrong? And I don't think I am. I think it's just the job market. But even when I do get into interviews and stuff, it's an extra level of like worry, or not worry, an extra level of confusion and frustration, because I'm like, okay, they asked me this question and I'm just going to be myself regardless because that's the best thing I can do. But I know there's a certain way I should be acting. I know there's a certain way I should be responding, and I just don't know what that is. So I feel like if I had support in that department, I might feel a little less chaotic. But I feel like with everything going on in the world, that's like the least of people's worries, understandably. And I'll figure it out. But probably that.
That's fair.
I'm tired of talking. Sorry. It just be happening. So then, let's see. Where do we want to go with this conversation? We can go down the route of talking about finances and like financial expectations, which we kind of touched on when we gave like an overview of expectations versus reality. So we can dive deeper into that. Or do you guys kind of want to talk about prioritization as an adult? Like, what are we prioritizing now compared to what we prioritized beforehand?
So when I think about like the financial expectations that I had for post grad life, the expectation was the income, period. Um, don't have that. But I just think the ability to like financially support myself was something that I've looked forward to for such a long time. Like, I'm so ready to work. Like, I want to start my first job and like get my career started. That's something that I've always really been excited for, that next chapter. And that and with that, there were like other levels of freedom that I experienced while I was in grad school in terms of financial stability that I don't have now. Like, I had a semesterly stipend that my HBCU fellowship provided, so I had money each semester. I also had an internship for spring semester, so I was making money as well, and that afforded me the opportunity to do things like meal prep. Now that's a whole separate grocery bill from my parents. I'm not going to ask them to shell out money on top of what we already do for the house groceries. So I don't meal prep anymore. But it also just afforded me the opportunity to just pay for certain experiences in New York that were fun. I could go to a Broadway show. I could go to whatever cute place we happened to find and wanted to check out. I could pay to go to concerts, like just little things like that. I think
Mm.
really I was expecting that to carry over, but if you're not financially stable, there's just certain things you can't do. um and on top of like financial stability, and there's a bunch of other things that I prioritize now as an adult. My health for one. I feel like when I was a kid, I was relatively healthy. Like, I rarely got sick ever. I feel like I would just have like a cold once a year, and even that wouldn't make me like bedridden. I would just be sniffling and sore throat for like a week, and then I'd be fine. But I think maybe like towards the end of 2024, I just started having like some health things. And so now it's like I take medication daily. And so that's just a new reality and something that I have to like prioritize now. Um, Also, like professional networking, because people always talk about networking is important, and it is. But I've never been good at it. And I feel like with a lot of the opportunities that I've gotten, I've networked, but I haven't had to do it to like such a large scale and extent now. Now it's like it's necessary and I'm doing it and I'm putting myself in these situations, but it's definitely something that, I have to like put more care into perfecting and priming a bit, which is interesting. Um
Mm.
and then lastly, I would say I'm prioritizing creative endeavors way more than I have before. Especially when I was like undergrad and grad school, a lot of the like creative fun things that I would do would get pushed to the side if it started clashing with like my attention to like schoolwork and everything. So I used to be way more of an avid reader. I used to write more. I did have my K-pop blog for like the year that I was in grad school, but when stuff in my personal life started getting a little bit busy and hectic, and then also like grad school as well, I stopped that and it hasn't really recovered since then. So I just feel like through Mosaic and just like other things I'm starting to do, like I'm starting to prioritize those creative endeavors that I had like put to bed because of school. So yeah, I would say those are the things that I'm prioritizing.
Hmm. Fair.
It's so easy to listen to you talk.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Like, I'm like, wow, I can just go around the house cleaning up. Like, this is so easy to listen to. What about you, Shreya? Or do you want me to go first?
I can go first. Um, when I was younger, the idea of making money wasn't all that important to me as long as I got to learn. As I've gotten older, but I actually master's graduation, that idea of learning has taken a back seat when it comes to earning a living wage.
Mm-hmm.
In the sense that now I feel pressure, not from anybody else. Again, it's all self-imposed to a large extent to earn money and become financially stable because I really want to start saving. I want my emergency fund. I want to have like insurance. I want to be able to have not just health, but life insurance and things like that. I want to be able to invest and build passive income sources. And the older you get, the more hard it becomes to do these things. And now I think I feel the pressure to get back on track. So I feel that's taking that's becoming more and more a priority these days in comparison to when I was just fresh out of undergrad, when I was like, it's okay. They're overworking you and they are basically exploiting you as long as you're learning something. Who cares? Let's just go ahead and do it. But I can't do that anymore. I can't afford to do that anymore. I don't think I'd be able to reconcile with that. So that's something that's shifted. Prioritizing as an adult, I reflect what T said in the sense that health has become a lot more important. In the sense that making sure that you're healthy enough right now to be able to do what you have to do, so that you have the strength to do what you have to do, but also ensuring that you don't fall flat on your face in a couple of years down the line. Because it all carry forwards when it comes to health. Like right now, you're running on steam, you don't realize it, but later on, you realize it too late. And I don't want that for myself. So, yeah. What else? I feel the pressure to settle down.
Hmm.
The
Like,
traditional sense?
family
Yeah.
wise?
Generally, like, like how an adult woman, independent woman would settle down. I feel the
Mm-hmm.
urge for it as well. Like, it's all right. I know you want to study a lot. I know you want to get another couple of degrees, but just settle down. It's just too much. Yeah, I think I've had enough of this life for now. I need to settle down.
Wow, that's funny. I relate to what you said, Shreya. When you said like you didn't really care for like what the income was, like you cared more about learning. I've always said my entire life, like I don't care as long as I'm doing a job that I really like and I can help people. Like that's all I really cared about. And on top of that, I've always been good with finances. I've always been really good at budgeting, being frugal, building a savings. Like that's not something I struggled with. And so I feel like now, well, let me reset that. That's something I was always good at. And then I feel like when I graduated from undergrad in 2022, up until this past year when I finished, graduated from the master's program, I feel like I just haven't been myself. And so I think I'm reprioritizing things that I used to prioritize. I guess like reprioritizing. I don't know if this is gonna sound. I'm gonna say it and tell me if it makes sense. It's like I'm reprioritizing being alone because I think most of my life, although I do have a big family, I've been alone in my head, like mentally, emotionally, intellectually. Like I've always struggled alone. I've always figured it out by myself. Of course, I had a community that supported me, Um, but for the most part, I was okay being alone and I was okay figuring things out on my own. And then I think when I graduated from undergrad, there's this preconceived notion of like, okay, once you graduate, that's the answer. You got it. Like you can go get that job and then you can get a house eventually within a few years, get married, have your kids. Like that's the answer. Just graduate. And I graduated undergrad and I didn't feel anything. Like I felt sad. Like I felt negative. And then I graduated master's and I felt nothing. Like it didn't propel me towards anything. And I think after graduating from undergrad, the last 2 years, I've just been like, I don't even care anymore. Like, I don't want to do it by myself. I'm fine with my community. I'll just like hang out with my friends. Like, it's whatever. And now I feel like because I've spent the last 2 years in that mindset of like, I don't really care anymore, I'm seeing the struggles that I'm facing now. Like it's harder for me to be more disciplined. I'm still disciplined, but I used to be way more disciplined than now. Like if y'all think I'm an organized neat freak now, you should have met me 3 years ago. Like it was next level. And so now I'm trying to reprioritize who I used to be, because who I used to be when I was alone and I was like figuring all these things out and I had the discipline and the drive to do more, I got more. And the last 2 years where I was like, I don't care anymore and let me just be with friends. Let me just be with the community. Let's all struggle together. It's like I came into this mindset of not really thinking through my decisions and then waking up one day and realizing I don't really know where I am in life, if that makes sense. So I'm trying to reprioritize everything I did before. I'm trying to be more intentional about my actions. I'm trying to think through and try different things. Like that was a big thing growing up. I always tried new things. I never really stayed the same, even though the last 2.5 years I have. So like I'm trying to reprioritize that. And then financially speaking, my finances are horrible because I have no income. But I'm not worried about like financials in the sense that I know once I have an income, I'll be okay. I just need to get the income. So that is just like, I just need a job and I can deal with the finances. But the personal aspect of having discipline and drive to like push myself to do better and try new things, that's what I'm trying to get back to. And like, it's hard. I really spent 2.5 years just being like, I don't care, because I was so overwhelmed and I shouldn't have done that. But hindsight's 2020. You never really know.
Something you said about graduation being like the answer,
Mm-hmm.
and how like it kind of like attitude of like, okay, I don't care anymore. It made me think kind of like with myself, like how it just feels like the goalpost kind of like moves a bit. And
Mm.
so like the expectations that I had like for my life, it's kind of like a heartbreak because it's like when you're young, it's like, oh, I'm gonna be rich, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna be a superhero. It's like realizing that it's like, oh, that's not reality. Like that's, you
Yeah.
can't be that. It's kind of heartbreaking in a way because it's like, wow, I thought I would do this, I thought I would do that, and it's like, no, that's not reality. That's not what I can actually do. I feel like I've also been going through that, and because like my whole thing, I always told my parents, oh, I'm gonna live in this big mansion. You guys will be in the West Wing. I'll take care of you guys. And I'm like, my parents are still taking care of me. I don't know when. I might need like 5 more decades before I could take care of them. You know what I mean? So it is interesting because I do feel like then I start prioritizing personal fulfillment where before it was kind of like, oh yeah, I want to make all these strides, get this money so that I can set everybody else. It's kind of like I can't even do that. So it's like, let me just make sure I'm good and like my mental is good
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, where before it's like, oh yeah, I would have just strived forward and just work, 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 work. I can't even do that. That's not an option. So it's like, let me, you know, like nurture myself.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think another thing is that as as the world gets older and generations grow, the age landmark, like you said, the goalpost keeps moving. The age landmark for certain things keeps moving. Like you said earlier, I don't know when, but you were like 25 is the new 21. But the thing is that goalpost is moving in the middle of us trying to like score the goal, and we don't
Yeah.
realize it. And it's like we have to give ourselves grace in a sense because we're living in this world for the first time. All these things are happening for the some things are happening for the first time. Other things are keep being repeated, and we're not learning from our mistakes. But we have to give ourselves grace to some degree. And then I wish on I don't think political is right. Maybe political is right. Like a political level, having some type of understanding or safeguard for changes that happened over the years. Like a very tangible example is like um, inflation, right? I just saw a video where they said buying a house in Philadelphia in like 1990 was like $80,000, and now it's like 200 and something thousand dollars. But then the median income went from 40K to 60K, right? Like there needs to be safeguards in place to help us with these transitions and these random changes that keep adjusting our state of living, because that's what it seems like. It just seems like socially speaking, financially speaking, um, even like spiritually speaking, our understanding of how to move through life changes as we keep developing as a society. But we have yet to put in safeguards to not protect, I guess, like support and guide us through those changes that are happening. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's a political thing or maybe like policy, which is still political. I don't know. But somewhere in our makeup as a nation, both like just as a nation here and then like internationally speaking as well, we should put that in place, because this keeps happening. Like people keep going through these changes at our age because society changed, the standard changed. Let's
Yeah.
just learn from it. Like, come on, it's really not that hard. Read some books and then create something, and fail, try again, fail, try again, succeed. Like, come on.
And I remember I saw this TikTok one time and it was a stitched video. I think it was Whoopi Goldberg on The View, and the perception was like Gen Z only wants to work 4 hours a day and da 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 da. But it's like the reality was the guy who like stitched it was like, well, what Gen Z is going through is you have these wages that aren't that high, but then things that y'all could get for like 20K are like triple that price now. So it's like we can't even get the things that the previous generation got at certain prices and at certain ages, because we still have to work there. Like we can't even get to that level yet because we have to work longer to be able to afford that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing that like some people I feel like understand. They're like, okay, yeah, it's they're living in a crazy time. But some people are just like, oh yeah, Gen Z, they don't work as hard as us, and they just
They're
want instant
lazy.
gratification.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's like some sure, but it's like that's not everyone.
On the other hand, financially speaking, I'm not playing games with this society. They already showed me they don't care about us and making sure that we're well financially compensated and well respected and getting paid our worth and all that. So if I have to stay home, pay off debt and save money, I'm doing that. I literally do not care, cuz you're not going to get me here to move into my apartment in New York. It was $10,000. Me and my roommate split it. $10,000 just to move in for a 1-year lease. Like, I'm staying home.
Hmm.
No shame. None. There was something else I was gonna say that you said, but I don't even remember. Um. So then, there's two more questions. This next one has to do. The last one is more so like hopes and futures. Wait, hopes and futures,
Hmm.
girl. Hopes for the future. This one has to deal with shaping your identity, specifically when it comes to grad school. How do we feel grad school helped us in shaping our identity? Do we feel like when we left adulthood, do you feel like when we left grad school, we felt like we had a good understanding of who we were? It doesn't have to be perfect, obviously. Like, we keep developing as people, but do we feel like grad school helped us move a step closer to understanding who we are?
Quite frankly, I was thinking I don't think grad school impacted my identity at all. Maybe if I listen to y'all, I'll think of something, but I can't think of a way that grad school impacted me much. I mean, great experience. It definitely did a lot for me, but like in terms of identity, I don't think so.
I don't know if it shifted my identity, but it did shift the way I saw myself in a momentarily. It gave me a little bit of a boost, made me feel good about myself, being able to get into grad school, being able to get into school that we went to. It gave me a little bit of a boost, though I'm realizing it now. So the first 6 months, I was like, okay, what am I doing here?
I
I'm here, okay. But give me a little bit of a boost, but I don't think it shifted the way my overall identity. I don't think that has happened. Um, there are certain aspects of my identity that it's made me view in a more broader sense, like my career, what I'm capable as a professional. It has made me view it in a broader sense, and I think it's also exposed me to very nice people. You know, a lot of stereotypes that I had in my head were broken through this program. So I think that it has done. Um, so I think I view people with a little more kindness now than I did earlier. That has changed. My capacity to understand where people are coming from has grown. I'd like to believe that. And the program has helped with that. So I think it makes, for the profession that I'm in, it does help me. So I think that's good. Um, Identity wise, I don't know. I think I'll need a little bit more time after detaching myself from that identity as a student to be able to process how it's changed me. I think that's something I'll have to do. But right now, this is what I see. I think it has given me a little bit of confidence, self assuredness in a way. Yeah. So I think that it has done. And I think that's a positive improvement. Negatively, I don't know. I don't think it's done anything negative to my identity per se. It's made me more conscious of my privileges, more grateful for them. It's also given me the ability to understand that this is who I am. I understand that I have privileges, and I respect that not everybody has this, but also being able to accept myself for that instead of hiding who I am. So,
Um, yeah. I honestly feel like grad school kind of turned me into a robot.
mm,
I think specifically when it comes to our program, and I feel like I've said a lot of negative things about the program, and there are really great positive things too. Like, the content and what we learned, like, that was great. I loved what we learned. Um, but I think that there was a formula to how you had to express your growth as a student. There's a formula in how you had to express your understanding of the content. And because of that, I felt like a robot. I feel like I lost my voice, especially my voice as a writer. Like, I don't write the same as I used to. And I know it's a skill to be able to write the way that we do going to the school that we went to. Um, but there's just certain things or certain ways that I thought from an emotional and mental standpoint that kind of got washed away. And I felt like a lot of times I was questioning myself. I doubted my intelligence and I doubted my creativity and I doubted my spirit. And I still do a little bit. Not as much as I did when I was in the program, like immersed in it. But even a year later, I still question some of the choices I make intellectually speaking, creatively speaking. Um, it's not a matter of questioning if it's good enough. It's a matter of questioning if I'm doing it right. And I don't think that's what school is supposed to teach you. Um, at least in our program, like, it's one thing if you're doing math. Like, math has to be right. Like, there's a very specific way you do math. But like in our program, a lot of the work we're doing is more so interpersonal and emotional. Um, and then you can like take that and go into different fields. And I don't think we're supposed to be questioning ourselves as much as I am. So I feel like that really took a blow to my identity as a student and a writer. And then I also think that I have really loud identities. I'm not just black, I'm dark skinned, and then I'm not just Muslim, I'm a black woman, and I'm first gen, an immigrant kid. Like, like an immigrant kid. I'm not an immigrant myself, but like all these different things, these loud identities that I have in American society, I have to be able to be confident and not always question myself. And I feel like after this program, that confidence has dwindled a bit. I'm still really confident, but not as much as I used to be. And that's like weird. And so I'm trying to understand who I am now outside the program. And hold on. I'm trying to understand who I am now outside the program by better understanding who I used to be and what aspects of that I want to take with me. And then reflecting on that year and a half of being in New York. And I guess being on that like journey of grad school and being a quote unquote adult and all that, learning from that and figuring out what parts of my identity have developed in positive and negative ways from that. Haven't figured it out yet, but I feel like that's where I'm at.
Hmm. That's interesting.
Interessante, interessante.
Yeah.
Now that we've spoken, do you feel like you have something to you or still?
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I can't think of a way that it just changed me in any way. I feel like I am pretty much the same after in a way. Like maybe like how like Shreya said, like maybe I need more time to separate. I'm like a year out, but still maybe I need more time to like separate to see, oh, has there been a change and was that caused by grad school? But right now I generally can't think of anything.
Fair. I think too much. Um, so yeah, we're a year out, but like this is something, and it was also my goal after we graduated. Like I knew I didn't feel okay. I knew I felt different. I didn't. Something was wrong. So I put so much effort and work into figuring out what was wrong.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's why I can like verbalize it to a degree. I still don't think I can exactly explain how I'm feeling and thinking, but it's been like almost a year of me just like, what's wrong? Why do I feel this way? What happened?
So next, we're going to move into a segment. And so we're actually going to each give a recommendation for something that either is helping us get through this post-grad era or something that kind of embodies our experience. So this could be a tip that we want to provide, music, a book, a movie. It's whatever we want. So who would like to share their recommendation first?
Is it just one?
I
I
have
thought it
one.
was one.
Oh,
She got a list.
my bad.
Rapid fire it, ma'am.
I will rapid fire it. But someone else go first, maybe? No, you know what? I'll just get it done. Okay, so my list, I didn't realize it was supposed to be one. I have 4 things real quick. So I have 2 things to watch. I I'm weak. I watched New Girl is like my favorite show. I feel like sometimes you just need some type of comfort show to get through grad school. Like you just need it. Sometimes you just need to put the book down, close the laptop, sit on the couch, eat some food, and watch a show. My second thing to watch is this documentary called Exclusion U. So we went to an Ivy League, and I didn't know much about Ivy Leagues. I didn't even realize it was an Ivy League when I applied. And so this documentary really opened my eyes to how Ivy League institutions and elite institutions are designed and how in the creation of the system it's not really designed for people of marginalized communities. It's real intricate. So I really recommend that if you're going to go to an Ivy League institution and you feel like you are from an underrepresented background or identity or community, then I would say watch that. Third, to listen to, this song got me through all of grad school. It's called Numb Little Bug by M. Behold. I don't know how to pronounce her last name. I'm so sorry. I feel like every single song or every single lyric was me. I would be walking down the streets playing that song on repeat. So if you feel like a numb little bug, listen to that song. You're just going to have to listen to it to see if it works, but I recommend. And then my bonus is K-pop. I feel like sometimes you have to be a little delulu. Like you have to have some escapism in there. And I think K-pop is the best like form of escapism that I found. Sometimes you just need a little parasocial relationship, act a little like, oh, this is not my reality. I don't live in an apartment where there's holes in the walls and there's ants coming from the window. That's not me. I don't go to a school where I don't know what I'm doing or talking about. That's not me. I'm literally a K-pop idol. I'm up here on stage singing and dancing. So I feel like K-pop is a really good escapism survival tool, or find something like that. But I would recommend K-pop. It's easy to dive in. You can't really get out once you're in.
The Lulu is the Salulu.
I promise you. Just a little bit of Delulu, you can get through it.
Similar to something Rose actually said, something that I've always done when that I felt was like important and it's like good for recentering myself was like the idea of like escapism, like getting lost into a world that was just completely different from mine. And that could be like book, television show, movie. But in this post grad era, especially like when I get stressed about things, like when they just aren't progressing in the time that I'd like them to, I find myself just needing an escape more often, but also like not too much, because like if you do it too much, I feel like that's like an unhealthy coping mechanism. I feel like it's important to also be grounded in your reality. But the most recent thing that I've been watching is Love Island USA season 7. It ended about 2 weeks ago, but it was just so fun to focus on something that was like so different from me. Just everything about the villa and everything happening, the drama, the love triangles, everything 5 days out of the week. Like that was just something that was so good for my spirit. Like I needed it. But also like adding on to that, it revived like conversations with people that I hadn't spoken to in a while. Like I was talking to people in group chats and we are like, girl, what such and such did tonight. And da-da. It was just nice because I hadn't even like spoken to like certain people in a while. And that was nice that that was able to be kind of like a bridge. So yeah, just you need something sometimes to just escape for a while and just, you know, because it can be a lot living in your own space. Like it's because you're always dealing with something, especially if you're stressed out about something that's happening. And sometimes you just need to chill, worry about someone else's problems, and then return to your own. I find it helpful. Lastly, shout out Nicolandria, shout out Shalace, and shout out Brian and Amaya. Okay, I'm done. Shreya, you got it.
Okay.
I'm crying.
The first thing that I would recommend, well, it's series. It's not a movie, it's a series. And the reason, I don't think it embodies my experience, but it helps me hope of a better future for myself and makes me, well, it's this K drama called Weightlifting Fairy Kimbuktu. It makes me giggle.
Love it.
Yeah, I admit they're younger than me, way younger than me, but it's funny to watch and it's cute. And I really like the idea that if you really work towards something and you're dedicated towards it, you'd love to do it that way. You know?
Mhm.
You love to work. And if you stick to it, you will achieve something that satisfies you. So I like that idea. And it doesn't matter if somebody 10 years younger than me is giving me that lesson. So, like that movie, like that TV series. Also, Harry Potter. I get lost in that world. I love it. Yeah.
It's not
So
bad.
that's it. You need to watch the books, not the show, not the movie. The
For now,
books.
pass. That seems like a commitment. I'll do it another time.
Yeah, it's actually really entertaining. I loved it. It's Harry Potter's consistently helped me through difficult times in life. Consistently. Through every slump that I've had, it's helped me through.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Damn.
It's just the fantasy world, not Harry Potter, but the universe.
Yeah, we know what you meant.
Yeah.
It's Harry. It's Harry that helps.
Not Harry. But
I'm
Harry
crying.
James Potter is
no,
what I
that's
mean.
not him, but the universe in which he lives in. The universe, the Harry Potter universe.
I know what you mean.
Not Harry James Potter. No.
I think it's interesting we all pick things about like in a way being like escaping and being a little
Mm.
delusional. I think that's interesting. And I think it's on trend for our generation. I feel like we make fun of ourselves a lot, like with saying Delulu and all that, but it's helpful. I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
sorry. I love
As long
that.
as it's, yeah, as long as it's an escape, a limited escape, and not your entire reality, it's fine.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like who I hate it. I'm already depressed. I don't want to watch another depressing movie or a TV series where someone's crying all the time. No, I'll cry if I want to cry about myself, not you. All right. So that's our movie, book, music recommendation list. So now that we're closing, what are your hopes for the future? What are you trying to get to?
For me, I'd like to see Mosaic grow. We've got a great group, great team, and I'm excited to see us grow our community further. I want to get a job in the entertainment industry if possible, where I can either do corporate communications, program management, creative strategy, or production and development. That's my ultimate goal. Even if I don't start out in the entertainment industry, I do want to get there eventually. Um, I want to publish my book that I've been writing since 7th grade that I've been like, picking up and then walking away for years and then coming back and then being like ill cringy because you were like an 8th grader when you wrote it. But yeah, I eventually want to like, just finish it. And I think that would make me feel really fulfilled and happy. And then lastly, I want to end on a Hamilton quote. But it's my favorite quote in the entire musical. But it's legacy. What is a legacy? It's planting seeds in a garden you never get to see. That's ultimately what I want to do. I want to build something bigger than myself that remains after I'm gone. So whether that's something physical or even just influencing people positively, that's what I'd like to build in my life. So.
That's nice.
Legacy.
Legacy.
What is a legacy?
It's a legacy.
Sound like Tywin Lannister.
Planting garden. It's so good. Oh my god, he said that in his final moments.
That's one of the most underrated songs.
Yeah.
For me, I have 3 goals in life as of now. Okay. 1, I want to create the #1 interfaith education organization in the world, preferably, but I can start off with being the #1 in my own like town, and then the state.
Start small. It'll get to the world.
It'll get
there.
Second, I want to build a house for me and my family. Well, preferably, like I want to buy land that fits enough houses for me and my family, like me and my sisters and like my parents, of course. That's the second one. And the third one is I want to get married and have kids down the line. Okay? I don't want anyone to see this and be like, oh, she want to get married now. Give me a second. I care more about growing as a person right now so that I'm prepared to be a good wife and mother. So please, down the line. Those are the 3 things I hope for the future. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen, but that's the goal, and I will work towards it every day until I reach them. And then I'll make new goals. It's fine.
Well, I didn't think of them as goals. I had like personal and professional fulfillment. When I say that, I mean, okay, let me start by saying this. I don't think any person should ever say that, oh, I am satisfied. But I want to be able to say I'm at peace. So that's what I mean when I say personal and professional fulfillment. So when I go to bed at night, I don't want to be full of regrets or like pangs that, oh, I didn't do this right. I want to be able to be at peace. Yes, that was a good day. Even if it was a hard day, it was a good day because I was able to do something that I like doing. And I came back from that. I'm going to bed and then I want to start another day tomorrow. So that's something that I really want. And my hope for the next hope is that I get healthy. So get healthy, personal and professional fulfillment.
Sounds good. Sorry.
Okay. So that was nice. And that's it for this podcast. So until next time, I have to say stay curious. Fuck. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go
She's
again.
hilarious, bro. She's hilarious.
I didn't even
Why is
remember.
nobody saying anything? And then
I was like,
oh,
why is it silent?
Okay, I'll start over. Shut up. Shh. Okay. Okay, so that was nice. So that's the end of this podcast. And so until next time, stay curious.
Stay true.
And stay unapologetically